Hey everybody, thanks for watching. In this video, I'm gonna discuss the benefits of using clipless pedals or rigid shoes for your cycling needs. Oh, hey, all right guys, thanks so much for tuning in. I'm going to tackle a very controversial subject today, especially with a lot of new cyclists. Some people are getting encouraged to get clipless pedals right away. Some people are saying that you don't need clipless pedals. You're perfectly fine on using sneakers and flat mount pedals. And I'm going to explain to you the difference and when you should use what. I've had bikes set up as urban bikes or just ride around the neighborhood kind of bikes, and obviously when I'm doing that kind of stuff, I'm not clipped in. On those bikes, I'll have just flat mount pedals. These are a set of flat mount pedals that come standard on any type of bike. Even a Walmart bike will have these. Now, these are fine and they have their place. If you're planning to ride less than 10 or 15 miles or spend less than an hour pedaling, this is perfectly fine. If you're not involved in anything where you're exerting a lot of speed, power, you need to have a lot of control on the bike, these are perfectly fine along with sneakers. You don't need to be clipped in for that kind of stuff. But the thing about these is this. Think of your foot. When you're pedaling, your foot is a fulcrum, right? And what we use a fulcrum for is to pry something open or to lift something or basically to be able to give leverage. So the stiffer the fulcrum, as long as the fulcrum is able to remain rigid, it'll be an effective tool. You'll be able to use it for the task for which it was designed or for its intended purpose. But the minute that fulcrum starts losing its rigidity and it starts to instead of being like this, that fulcrum starts being like this, it starts to diminish its ability to do its job. Which, if you're riding your bike and you're using flat mount pedals and you're on that bike for an hour or so, the thing that's keeping your pedaling efficiency is your ability to keep your foot rigid. And the longer you do that, the more strain you're going to be producing through your feet. So eventually your feet are going to start doing this deal right here. They're going to start doing this deal right here. And the fulcrum starts to lose its effectiveness. Why is that important? On our bikes, we only have 3 contact points. Our hands on the handlebar, our seat in the saddle, and our feet on the pedal. Our hands grip on and hold on to the handlebar, and we may move our hands around, but that's all they do. And our butt is planted in the saddle, and there's not a lot of moving around going on with that either. The foot, on the other hand, is a dynamic portion of your body that's doing propulsion with the bike, and it moves around. I've seen people using flat mount pedals with sneakers. When they start out, they may be fine. They may be right here where they need to be, which means that the ball of your foot is intersecting the axle of the pedal. But eventually what starts to happen after stopping, starting, putting a foot down, moving around, you start to get this deal right here. I've even seen people riding back here where they're basically pedaling with their heels, and that's not effective. So all it's going to do is potentially lead to injury. Certainly it's going to lead to discomfort, and you're going to lose pedal efficiency. Okay? So not an effective fulcrum. Okay? These are cycling shoes. These are my Adidas Cosmic Pro. They have a carbon sole, which is stiff. I can't bend the sole in either direction. It won't move, right? I know you see my big old guns working, but what that translates to is 2 things. One is my foot is more relaxed and I'm using less of the muscles in my feet because they don't have to maintain a position of rigidity. The shoe is maintaining the position of rigidity. So I have less fatigue using rigid cycling shoes that are clipped in than if I were using sneakers. That's one of the big advantages. The second advantage is that when you're clipped in, and this is not the best example, but when you're clipped in, my cleats are set in such a way that the ball of my feet are going to intersect the axle of the pedal every single time. So every single time that I'm clipped in, my foot is in the right position. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to plan it. I don't have to look down. I don't get this deal. It's always this 100% of the time. So my feet are always in the optimal position for pedaling, which aids in my pedal efficiency. It also aids in my safety, my ability to control the bike, and it reduces the amount of fatigue that I'm going to have going through my feet. So there you have it. That's what I have found over my years and my experience of riding, or the reason why, if you're planning to do any type of spirited riding, you want to make sure that you're clipped in. Okay, so that's the information that I have for you on the pedal system, which one works best. If you have a comment, even if you disagree, I'd like to hear your reasons for that. But definitely please like and subscribe the video and stay tuned for more basic cycling content.